I can't take away from either one of those.
So this is why I said it was a cop-out, but I agree. Because Cleveland didn't get the ball past half court in the final minute. They get a shot. Yeah. They couldn't get it past half court. And they got lucky that Donovan didn't get a flagrant.
For which one?
Yeah.
When they got the inbound, he got the offensive foul
Right
by Donovan. They reviewed it to see if it was a flagrant. And I think that's a flagrant.
They might have called it earlier in the game.
That's what I was about to say. I think that's a flagrant if it happens any time outside of the final minute of the game. But here's where you give the Pacers credit. Since they have been tracking such things nearly 30 years ago, down 7 in the final minute. Go show the graphic if we could. Prior to this past week, all of NBA history, it was the Chris Paul Oklahoma City meltdown game. Was the one win.
Wow.
Remember that game 10 years ago when Chris tried to draw the foul against
got him
Westbrook?
all out of sorts.
1,694. The Pacers twice in a week have done it. Twice. It's unbelievable. And so they get Halliburton gets credit.
I got a great take about Halliburton that I'll save.
All right. Well, that's coming.
I'll save for later.
30 minutes.
Wow. Coming
That's
up.
a nice tease.
I wonder what that take is. No, the bigger story is the Indy comeback. I mean, Cleveland couldn't even inbound the ball. I mean, they were so gassed. I know that they're a little, they were playing a little, shorthanded, but, like, they were gassed. Donovan Mitchell had, like, nothing left in the tank. And yet the Indiana Pacers were kind of like, I could do this all day. I can do this all day. And they were relentless. And they did not give up. I mean, there was multiple moments in that game within the final, like, minute or so that you easily could have just been like, all right, I'm going to hit some free throws. This game's over. Chalk it up, whatever. 1-1. Let's go. We stole one game. All good. And they didn't. I mean, the focus and the intensity that the Indiana Pacers had, I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was a total team effort. It really was. I mean, just because it's not like Tyrese was playing this amazing game either, at least in the beginning, and obviously banged up wrist. But I mean, it was a collective effort. Like if we look at here, just balanced minutes, no one needing to be a hero, balanced shooting. 8 for 13, 8 for 17, 8 for 13, 7 for 11. Getting some decent production off the bench. And now you look at here, like, again, they're a little short here in terms of maybe some of the quality of play. But Donovan Mitchell plays 36 minutes, 30 shots, and is just so wildly spent. I mean, like, he was just passed out on the court. I mean, it looked like he played like for 10 hours. Like he just ran a marathon, had a powerlifting meet, and then was like, okay, I'm going to go play basketball now. I mean, it was pretty remarkable. Where you got Halliburton, who was just like, I just started playing in the fourth quarter. Like I have actually been sitting for the first 3 quarters. I'm ready to go. Like let's get after it. And he took over. But again, you got Siakam, like everyone else still stepped up. And then again, not even just because you obviously when you're down by 7, like you obviously got to put up points. But like just the defense alone too, and getting the rebounds off free throws, like it was just such high level heads up play, and it was so fascinating to watch this game because normally when I watch these games, I don't know the outcome at all. I usually watch them in way, even if the game is already over, like hours later, I still I have it recorded. And then I watch it and I don't look on ESPN or the scores or anything like this. But because of how last night unfolded, I actually watched the Warriors game first, then I watched this game. And so I knew that the Pacers ended up winning. And it was so fascinating. I'm actually really happy it worked out that way because it was so fascinating to look at it through the lens now of like, how did the Pacers win this game? And it allowed me to really like lock in and be like, where are things going wrong? Where are things going right? Like, how is this actually unfolding? Halliburton, he has 19 points. Like, how does he end up being the hero? Like, it was fascinating. it was, I mean, honestly, it was one of the most wildest and most exciting final 2 minutes of a game that I could remember. I mean, even once you start getting into like 45 seconds, you're just still kind of like, how is this going to happen? You know, like how is someone going to shoot a 3, get fouled, miss the free throw, kick it out for another 3? You're still kind of like doing the math, and you're like, how is this unfolding? And it was just like, the Pacers were ready to play. The Pacers were ready to close out this game, and the Cavaliers simply were not. The Pacers were ready for the moment. The Cavaliers simply were not. The Cavaliers were making mental mistakes and fatigue errors. The Pacers simply were not. And so the Pacers deserve all the credit. And now they're up 2-0, and it's just like the heart is ripped out of the Cavs. You're looking at this game and this series, and you're like, how does this not end in 5? Dare I say even 4? I mean, you imagine the Cavs are going to try to, have a rebound, and they're not going to want to go quietly, but it kind of feels like to me, and I don't want to, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but it kind of feels like to me, it's really up to the Pacers to decide this. It's not a matter of, as I'm sneezing on the truth, it's not a matter of like, oh, well, Cleveland's going to bounce back, and, you just got to give them at least a game. Like, I'm kind of like, no. If the Cavaliers win one of these next 2 games, it's really going to be because Indiana Pacers let them. They took the foot off their gas. They were wildly cold. Like, it was just one of those games where they just like could not make a shot. They got themselves in foul trouble. Like, it just doesn't feel like, no, Cleveland's going to be able to, bounce back with a level of intensity. It's like, no. I mean, at this point, I just don't see it. And then it's just like, you can sweep this series, rest up, and watch the New York Knicks and the Celtics beat up on each other. And you can just chill. Like, I really see that being at this point, again, unless the Pacers really just fall back, if this series even went 6, I would be surprised. I really would be. And I think in a loss like this, after you're so tired, when I saw Donovan Mitchell, when I saw how tired he was and how gassed he was, I mean, like, again, and credit to him, I respect it. He gave it his all. When you lose in that type of, not even just the way you lost, but if you just lose in general and you put it all out, it is just the most deflating thing ever. You just feel like I did everything. I emptied the clip. I did everything I could, and we lost, and we were at home. Like, that's the only silver lining, that you get to like at least sleep in your own bed. But like, you sleep in your bed, and then like you got to get on the plane and go to go on the road. So it's just like you don't even get a second to kind of even like really necessarily recover, which is why I feel like it's just, I would be if you're a Pacers fan, you should be disappointed if they don't come out and just win Game 3 convincingly and just continue to be like, yeah, this series is over. Yeah, it's best of 7. Yeah, you got to win 4. The series is over. There is no chance. That is what the Pacers have the chance to do. And I'm excited to see if they do it or not. I'm not saying they have to do it, but it's just like, that's just kind of the lens that I'm looking at this through right now. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Indiana Pacers? What do you think the bigger story is, their comeback or the Cleveland collapse? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.